Hello travellers, today we're going to be taking a look at the OutIn Nano Espresso machine. Now you may have seen this on a couple of other channels, but it is very portable and travel friendly, as I'm going to show you in a moment. So all of the items you need to make a coffee on the go fit into your bag. And the other advantage of this is that it actually boils water for you. So if you take a look in the top, you get a little water reservoir, and this holds about 70 ml. Slightly more than 70, 80 ml of water, and I use that to store the coffee dosing cup. On the back here you have the USB-C charging port, and on the front you have a single button. Press once to see the battery level, double tap to immediately process the coffee, which is what you'd use if you had hot water in the top, and long press here, you can see on the side, actually explains this. Long pressing this button will go into a boiling cycle. So if you put room temperature water like this, which I'll show you in a moment, it will then boil the water and then process the coffee. On the bottom, you have what people are calling a catch cup, but actually this cup, you can see it has just enough space, about half the cup, so you can actually use this to drink the espresso. So the amount of max level of water that goes in the top will never reach more than halfway. So you can always use this cup if you're only making a single shot to drink your espresso. I have the basket here that screws on the bottom, and then you also have this here, which is kind of like a reusable Nespresso coffee pot. So you pop off the top, and that is where you put your coffee in. The other cool thing is that this dosing cup actually acts as like a tamper, so you can tamp the coffee down, and I'll show you all that in a moment. Now it does also come with a Nespresso. This is a separate included in the package, but it's a separate attachment. This is the Nespresso pod. So if you have an Espresso pod, you put it in here, and then you put it in the top like that. Then you screw it on. So I think if you're traveling and on the go, the Nespresso pod's probably the sort of easier cleanup method, but it is a little bit wasteful to the environment, even though you can recycle them. I do prefer to use the reusable one. Now also, I like this particular ground coffee, but you can use your own beans and grind them with a grinder, or use pre-ground sachets or whatever. But for this example, I'll be using this pre-ground. I will just let you know as well that if you look at the link in the description, you can click that link and get 10% off a purchase of this product. So what I did notice is with the dosing cup here, it has like this sort of ring, and you want to feel the coffee scoop just slightly about at that ring there, because if you overfill it, it won't fit into the dosing basket. And then what you can do is you can put the dosing basket on upside down, and then flip it, and then just give it a tap. Coffee just nicely fits in there, and you can just give it a tap, like so. And you have a coffee pod ready to go. And then you just go ahead and pop that into the basket and screw it onto the bottom. Doesn't have to be too tight. I've noticed if you tighten it too much, once the coffee goes through because of the pressure, it actually can be hard to get off. So I don't do it too tight, but tight enough so that it won't leak. And then what I do is I actually just put the cup back on, and like I said, it's fine. The amount of water that goes through won't overfill this cup, and it won't touch the top, so I'll show you that in a moment. But I will just say here, as I'm filling this up, I usually like to fill it to the max level, but you can go 70 ml or 50 ml, which is the typical standard size of a single shot. So I fill it just slightly below the max level there. You can actually leave the lid off while it boils, but when you are handling it, I would put the lid on so that it doesn't splash hot water on you. So pressing and holding will set it into the boiling, and it takes 2 to 3 minutes, which is pretty quick. I'll show you that as it gets hot in a moment. So while that boils, I'll just explain a few things. So if you're using cold water and boiling it like this, because of the battery and everything, you can do about 4 to 5 cups in this method. If you are doing it with hot water, like using a kettle and then pouring hot water and then just directly brewing it, you can do more than 200 cups. It lasts for ages. Now the crema does produce a nice rich thick crema. This is definitely an espresso style coffee, which the AeroPress doesn't exactly do, and you can taste it really is very nice. If you have access to milk or a milk frother, then you can make like lattes and other types of coffee that tastes very much like you'd be drinking in a cafe. Now I will just also quickly note that it only takes the Nespresso style pods. I did accidentally buy some Audi ones that were a different type, the Key cup or KEE cup, and those don't fit in here. So only the more narrow metal Nespresso style pods will fit in this one. These ones are the ones from Audi, and when you put the pod in, you just put it in like that, and you keep pushing until it clicks and it has little teeth in there. Then you put it in upside down, and then you screw it in, and that's how that one works. And then once you've finished, you just take the capsule out and throw it away, or take it to a recycling center. So on the go, you know, like if you were camping or on a train or something, this is probably the easier method, because clean up with the reusable one with the coffee grounds can be a little bit messy, I guess. But if you're just rinsing it out or chucking it in the forest or something, it's probably not too bad. So the other good thing about this one is that the lights show you the process. So now it's actually halfway through the boiling process. I'll just see if I can show you the water there. You can see that the hot plate on the bottom is actually heating the water, and you can see the bubbles, which means that it's working. So now the third light is on and it's nearly finished boiling. You might be able to see the water boiling there. So at this point I will put the lid on, just because I don't want to spill that. And it actually boils quicker with the lid on as well, because it keeps the heat in. And you can see it has a little vent here as well to let the steam out the top. And if you listen carefully, you can actually hear the sound of the water boiling, but it is incredibly quiet. It's like a very quiet boil. Once the fourth light comes on, it will actually begin to beep, and then that will indicate that the coffee is about to come through, and you have a little bit of time to grab it and put it into a cup if you did want to extract the coffee directly into your cup. But like I said, I'm just going to keep it extracted into this catch cup here. So it is now extracting the coffee. I'm not sure if you can see that down the bottom there. And it smells very nice. And if you take a look at the top, it has used just about all the water. I carefully take this off. You can see it did actually just touch the crema. But if you have a look in here, that is a very nice crema. Very thick and tasty. That is very tasty. Now if you added milk to that, you can make all kinds of coffee, because this is essentially now a double shot espresso, because I used more than 70 ml of water. If you used 50 ml, it would be a single shot. But that is definitely a very nice tasting coffee. Now, if you did want to extract more coffee, because I believe the amount we extracted was about 7 grams or somewhere around there, they do make a slightly larger attachment that goes on the bottom, and you can do a proper double shot with about 16 grams of coffee. But you know, for me, for traveling, usually in the morning I would have a coffee like this, just a double or single shot espresso, even without milk, or with a bit of extra hot water. And that is very nice and very tasty. Very easy and very portable. So this will fit right in your backpack. So I will just also quickly show you what I mean by the cleanup. So once it's finished extracting, you just unscrew the bottom here. You'll see there is some residual hot water, so you need to be careful. It's not completely boiling, but it is hot, and you do need to be careful. I usually would probably wait until it's cooled down to do this, but just for the purpose of this demonstration, there is a little bit of hot water in here, so you might want to rinse this one, and then this one here, I can feel that is very hot. But you also want to be careful when you're taking this one off, because it will be very hot inside. You can see the coffee there. Simply just rinse that out in the sink, or throw it into your compost, and you wash that, rinse it out, and you'll be ready for the next shot of coffee. Once you're ready to go, you just attach the bottom back on. I like to store the dosing cap on the top there. And you pop the cup on, chuck it in your bag, and you're ready to go. So that is it, a quick look at the OutIn Nano Espresso machine. Definitely worth checking out, and check the links in the description for a discount which will be automatically applied when you click the link. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.